I want to talk about stand your ground. You can post, you can chat with me why I am against stand your ground and why is stand your ground so important. At this point, November the 14th, we had a legislation passed in the Ohio House. The Republican controlled the the House, and at that point, um, if you can see here, the Ohio House, I'm glad you can see here the Ohio House. The Republican controlled Ohio House of Representatives passed legislation Wednesday that eliminates the duty to retreat before using force in self defense. You can also see House members are also set to vote on a bill. Okay, and as you can see, CNN made a report on stand your ground cases of how to avoid different cases. You cannot avoid uh, shoot to kill. We want to take action uh, every day if we have to get these guns off the street. CNN wrote a commentary about. I don't know if you can see me or if you can see what I'm my documents. Although critics say Drake's use of deadly force was uncalled for, this was an argument over a parking lot space in Florida. And so, although critics say Drake's use of deadly force was uncalled for, the Pinellas County sheriffs declined to arrest him, citing that the state stand your ground law, which give him immunity, the decision sparked outcry and calls for reform. Uh, and so, okay, okay, so that was CNN commentary on stand your law ground. Fight against stand your law. Fight against stand your law. Fight against stand your law ground. Monday. Our own legislation, Stephanie House. state rep. Let's take a look at this. Her bill on her video on Stand Your Ground. And look at what happened. Now, her video is about her heated debate on Stand Your Ground and her passion for, check this out. Okay. Can you see me out there? I don't think I'm on all the way live. No, this bill should not pass. Take the bill out of legislation. It's not a good um, positive influence or impact on our community. We will take action. My name is Levita Murray. On the January the 7th, January the 7th, you will find on this Stand Your Ground, Fight Against Stand Your Ground. I will be doing several, several. Um, I want to know out there, are you for or against Stand Your Ground? Are you for? I'm for live chats. Are you for or against Stand Your Ground? Are you for or against Stand Your Ground? Are you for or against Stand Your Ground? I just want to know that. Are you for or against Stand Your Ground? I'm going to be doing several. I'm against it. Stand Your Ground law. Against, we need to take more action. More action. We have number one, the First Amendment, the right to bear arms. We have number eight, uncruel and unjust punishment. Who has the right? I'll get more in depth over the amendments, the language. Is this a self-interest group that's interested in this stand your ground, fight, stand your ground? I will be conducting several YouTubes, several legislation hearings, different protests and rallies. In fact, um, January 7th is the swearing in of our state re-elected state representative, Ohio State Representative Stephanie House. And she will be, if you can watch this with me, I'm going to um, Ohio legislation to read some of we already have a Ohio revised code called spontaneous response. Um, it doesn't have anything to do with not responding to a bill or what not. The response as a self defense. Why do you need self defense? If you would stop the violence, you wouldn't need self defense. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. We would need self defense. We would be more. You could say if you are for or against the stand your ground. I'm looking for another YouTube because I'm going to be doing series and series and series on stand your ground. Stephanie House, January the 7th. We want to support. We don't want politicians that can't fight legislation, don't have a plan, don't have anything in place. We need, as a community, as a Black community, we need to step in and get busy and get this plan, come, bring some ideas in, get her um, moving in the direction to destroy, kill, and remove the Stand Your Ground bill. Legislation is a piece of garbage. It need to be flushed down the toilet. When it comes to um, I'm going to go to a video, a YouTube on Stand Your Ground to keep, um, I, I, to look at the Ohio legislation. I'm asking you to um, to really step up with your voices. We really want your voices heard. I'm going to first go to the Ohio legislation webpage and read what it is saying about the Black voices they need. Um, on New Year's Day, I heard so many guns. Why? Why are there so many guns? Because you have the right to bear arms. We're going to go more in length about that. My main thing is, are you going to be, I'm going to type this in, are you going to be as Stephanie House, your Ohio State rep, uh, Stephanie House swearing in? Yes or no? Are you for or against Stand Your Ground? Stephanie House, Ohio State, swearing in. Ohio rep, Stephanie House. Uh, okay. This is, are you going to be there? Yes, no. See, this is how I reach out in the struggle. People who see, we're in a community where we're doing everything that doesn't even relate to us. Just look at your street, look at your neighborhood, and look where they are right now. Okay, stuff don't even relate. What's that mean? That everything that people say in a discussion of bringing some ideas, it don't even relate. These stand your grounds. The crime rate hasn't changed. Even with the jail deaths, you got to step up and fight, and keep pushing it in the headlines. Keep it in the headlines. Keep it in the newspaper. Stephanie House, are you going? You need to be in Columbus. I will be there, yes or no. Um, the action that when you don't unite with me on legislation, laws, you don't fight laws that you know is wrong. I heard someone say, how we wouldn't need justice. We wouldn't need justice if they would um, make laws that were all wholly the whole, righteous, good laws, right laws. We don't want stand your ground. Are you for or against stand your ground? Swearing in Ohio Rep. Stephanie House. Are you going to be there? Yes or no? It's important that you be there in Columbus. What is it, 77 High Street? I'll look it up while I go look it up on the web. I'm wondering. I'm Lavita Murray. I'm at the Manor House, and I'm involved. I work around different things in my community with the women. I work with the women, and I work around listen explicitly like working with legislation. A lot of people didn't know that, but I do. Is this prudent? Is this conservative? I mean, who who are you for or against? I'm going to put on a video. You might not see me. You might see the video. You might not see the video. But in Columbus, I will pass out Fight Stand Your Ground, some uh, just to just to advertise it. I mean, not the advertisement, but to take action, taking some action around it, um, to stand your ground. And um, I think we need to push our state rep, representative Stephanie House in Ohio. My vote, it's not just there because it's a vote. I didn't vote for anything. I expect some more action politically around this stand your ground. Um, what I've noticed in the community, we as a people, I've noticed, and I'm telling you, I've take action around stand your ground ever since November the 14th, since the bill passed, and then they lied and said, "Oh, we took some of it out, and we only kept some and left some out," but they didn't show that in writing. Okay. So, they lie, they cover up shit. And so, but I've noticed that when it comes time to protect I am also Lavita Murray. Where are you? When it comes time to are you for or against stand your ground? You know why? Why I'm one reason I don't even own a gun. When I came up, when we spoke, we respected the words. If you said no, if you said we, if we did, we fought. We took off all the weapons and we got in the ring and we just duked it out. We didn't, now your own people trying to duke you by funding this stand your ground law. Because if you're not saying no, then you saying yes. And so I'm on the phone. I have to answer y'all call in instead of huh. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So I want to read. Hi, Christopher. Hi, Man of Church. Um, I want to read the Ohio legislation page. I, I'm really going to go over all the Democrats that said no. That's another series I want to talk about. I want to talk about January 7th, it's the swearing in our state, swearing in Ohio Rep Stephanie House to the public. I might need to, and when it comes to the people, you literally ignore me. We have gotten so oppressed, and you don't have to be black or white to oppress. Some people is just oppressed. They oppressors. That is their job to oppress. And so we've gotten to the place where um, um, just ignore anything that's spoken about stand your ground. But you must push this in the headlines. You must push the stand your grounds in the headline. You must push how Stephanie House, your state rep, okay, and all the Democrats, Ken Smith, he's one of the Democrats. I have the whole list of Democrats. Go to votesmart.com.org. Vote smart. You'll see just how your political elected officials voted on this bill. This is a Republican bill introduced. It was introduced in 2017. The American Psych, well, I don't want to mention personalities, but there were some people that advocated against the bill and the bill sat. So now it has been introduced to um, the history, legislation history is upcoming um, on this bill because we're going to do we're going to shred this bill to pieces and we're going to really do some real work on this legislation and why it should be destroyed. I really like what American, or I don't want to say the organization or the source, but here's a YouTube. And this is on Stand Your Ground. And you probably could just hear the sound. You probably can't. Here's a YouTube, because this legislation, as you heard before, is in so many groups. Uh, Stand Your Ground. Now, this one here in Florida happened 4 months ago. Okay. So you should be able to hear it, even if you can't see me. Okay. If you commit murder, now I know we can get technical, but um, to say it's totally up to the prosecution is, in my opinion, is incomplete to me. I think it's totally up to the. Um, I think it's up to the judge. So here's another protest. Here's some more on Stand Your Ground. How the old man couldn't defend himself, but he just was old and cranky, and they feel like we've had a lot of talk about the Stand Your Ground shooting, and we know that um, if you commit murder, you should do time. Period. If you commit murder, you should do time. Um, that's it. I mean, most of these are on the Florida case and how he shot the guy. And here's one. another protest on Stand Your Ground, and you can hear this. Right. Now I'm wondering, can you even I wonder, can you hear this? Stand Your Ground. I'm looking at several Stand Your Ground, fight against Stand Your Ground organizations. We have a Stand Your Ground Cleveland Yahoo group. Um, I think Stand Your Ground protects the shooter and not the victim. I have so much um, against this. Remove it, destroy it, kill the Stand Your Ground. If you murder, you go to jail. That includes the police. They should be in jail for the murders. Tamir Rice, 137 shots. The community um, looked like settling to me. I mean, just too calm, too. Is justice real to you, or is it just a word to you? Are you for or against stand your ground law? Because it seems like it's just a word to you. You know, self-defense to me means avoid all violence, tactics of violence. We avoid it. That's what self-defense means to me. It means to avoid altercation, conflicts, controversies, um, not provoke it. I I'm gonna be on this, on it, on it, on it. The swearing in, January 7th. That's what I want to put here. January 7th is swearing in. Um, January 7th, 2019. At 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. is the swearing in. Ohio State. Stephanie House. I don't even want to. I mean, um, uh, now there is a. I feel like, and I'm gonna make sure that any officer or any shooter use the stand your ground. uh, I'm gonna in Ohio and Cleveland especially. I'm going to make a determination that they get charged with murder. You know, because we shouldn't be arguing back and forth. Should not be arguing. Okay? We should not be arguing. We shouldn't be having shouting matches. I well, we live in fear before fear itself appears. And so that's another discussion aside that we will address um, about this stand your ground and fear. What is the definition of fear? How do you define fear? Because how do you interpret the word fear? What is the definition of self-defense? And where did that definition come from? Where did you get that word from? Are you for or are you against stand your ground law? And these judges should be held accountable if they do not um, propose a sentence on a shooting using that using judgment ruling on self-defense as a decision. I'm against it. Now, nobody might not be against it but me. But I am telling you, we need to push this in the headlines. And I've noticed that my people have settled for far too much, too little, too less. You know, we need to step it up and stand up. Step up and stand up for justice. Step it up and stand up for justice. Step it up and stand up for justice. Step it up and stand up for justice. We need to step it up and stand up for justice. Quit begging for justice and step it up and stand up for justice. We want justice. We don't want no swearing in. We don't want no stand your ground law legislation. We want to kill, destroy, remove, kill, destroy, remove. That piece of legislation is a piece that need to be flushed down the toilet. It's bad. Get rid of it. Take it out. Don't enact it. Stop. At, at, at some point, um, if you're afraid, what are you doing there in the first place? If you're that afraid, why are you there? I mean, if you, right, if you want, you know, I got so much stuff I want to cover with this stand your ground. I just want you to know about Monday. Lavita Murray, I'll be in Columbus January 7th on the 2 o'clock swearing in Columbus, Ohio State. But we should be taking the City Hall, the State Hall, Ohio Hall steps. I will be passing the flyers out. We need action around getting things in people's hand, not word of mouth. If you're taking word of mouth, now this is just me. What I, you know, this is my in my world. It might not have anything to do with the way you think, but if you're gonna take word of mouth, you are not interested in nothing I'm saying. Because I just gave you so much information. You have to write it down when you want to use it. It's there. I have flyers, postcards, poster boards. I'll have poster boards. Fight against Daniel Brown. We want justice and Columbus. And my rappers out there. I want it in your songs. I want you to write Fight Against Daniel Brown. You know who you are. You know the 70 that are ordained. Um, let's talk about, okay, this is a talk group. I don't know why I don't see black, um, uh, now I might seem, I don't want to seem double-minded or furious. I am and mad. I am. I'm angry as hell because we need, are you for or against stand your ground? Is this a joke to you? Is it a joke to you? Because if you're in fear, why are you there? Why are you physically there in the first place? I don't go places I'm afraid of. I just don't. Fear has no fear unless fear itself is brought alive. That's just my philosophy. I brought that. That's just my own words. And so we want people as familiar with the stand your ground law as we can. So I'm gonna have speakers, and we had a meeting at the Manor House a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, about the stand your ground law, and there were people there that was for it. They were for stand your ground law, even though they didn't own a gun. What about that? So we had to come to a vote. Who was for and who was against stand your ground? Two was for stand your ground laws, and five was against stand your ground law. And so the plan, I plan on taking a lot of action around this. People can say, well, I want to get involved. Just get involved, okay? Get involved. We have over Ohio Revised Code for self-defense. If you let me look a minute and see if I can find one. Um, see if I can. Let's see here. Let's see here. Do we have Ohio Revised Code? Um, let's see here. Now, if you look at, I'm going to turn this video off for a minute because um, we already have, let me see, what did Ohio Revised Code. Which section is this? Section 2901 of the Ohio Revised Code is for self-defense. It's a self-defense. Why are they raised over $500,000 pushing this legislation in the House. We already have it as Ohio Revised Code, and let's see here. We have Ohio Revised Code 29, no duty to retreat in resident or vehicle. And it simply says, for the purpose of any section of revised code that set forth a criminal offense, a person who lawfully is in his person resident has no duty to retreat before using force in self-defense of another, or defense that person resident or person who lawfully is occupant person vehicle or lawfully an occupant in a vehicle owned by an immediate family member of that has no duty to retrieve before using force and self-defense. That was in 2008. That's Ohio Revised Code. Uh, no duty to retreat, 290109. Uh, now, where do you see fear at? Uh, why is it in the house? Hmm. I would think everything that self-defense would have to be the first thing being eliminated, prove self-defense. I'm just, I want to see some more material. The question is, I will put the address where the state legislation is. Ohio legislation. I'm looking up Ohio legislation. Um, legislation. Okay. Okay, the Ohio legislation. Okay. I don't know if you're seeing this part of when I'm looking up because I want to put the address and where we're going to be swearing in. Congratulations, Judge, Your Honorable Judge Melody Stewart, Sweet Melanie, Melody Stewart. Congratulations to our Democratic Party. I truly believe that the Democrats is not enough. You need the people. You need You need the people, and you need the people to get involved and push this in the headlines. We need this in the headlines. Stand your grounds. We need because they're doing some backyard stuff that on the back end is illegal. Real simple. Or should I say it's not positive. And so I think you could post a smiley or um, I got to put the directions down. Um, they want me to say something again. I'm on podcast, Podbean. This is part of my radio show. The audio may show, but I know basically I wanted the um, the, um, the there's some more things I want to read. I want to share. I'm just sharing information. And I know you're going to come against me, but I am coming against, I am against stand your ground laws, that piece of legislation. So here, the next thing I think, did I go to Ohio legislation? I wanted to get you the address. Let's see here, to our state rep, Stephanie House. Get the address, the directory. You can always go to the Ohio legislation, 132nd General Assembly. Okay. And let's see here. House legislation, leadership. Um, okay. Let's see if I can get her for, oh shoot. I know I need to go back. Okay. So how you doing out there? This is Lavita Murray, talking about I am against stand your ground legislation, November the 14th, 2018, in Ohio House. That committee, that group, you need to remove that group that committee that's overseeing this bill need to be replaced. That would be the first plan. If I had to have a plan, is to get that group out of there. Okay. That's um and so I'm here. It's something that I wanted to read that Stephanie House did mention. Let's see, Ohio Step Reps. Let's see, can I get her? Um, let's see, select representative. Okay, Stephanie House. This is what she says. I'm going to read her statement. I think you heard some of it on the tape. Okay, this is what she says. She states, Stephanie House today released the following statement after being gavelled down and having her microphone cut while giving an impassioned speech on the consequence stand your ground legislation had on our minority communities. Here, I'm going to type in the address so you could go to that link, and her link is, see, where is it? You go to www.ohiohouse.gov. Stephanie House responds to Ohio meltdown over stand your ground debate. No public input. We asking for more public input. We ask that you push it in the headlines, keep it in the headlines. The jail deaths is in the headlines. Keep that in the headlines. Keep pushing that in the headlines. Let me write this address. I will be in Columbus. Um, I want my rappers. Um, you know who you are. um, I will continue to reach out to my rappers as well to fight against stand your ground. Now, we're here. I'm in a when I won the election May 8th, I am a Democrat. Um, I want to talk about the election too, because I when it comes to information that I really want to share, which that will be upcoming soon. The election, I don't agree that everybody just been sworn in. I have 4 swearing ins to go to in 1 month. Why everything? And so I just want to say congratulations, but we don't want no line job politicians sitting around handing us dishes. Okay, we don't want heroes just sending us. And we need you politicians to raise money for your community so we can do these different fights. Stop being so cheap to your black people. We are the richest culture in rank, queen and kings. Read your Bibles. Read your Bibles. This legislation stuff, you will see where it comes from. You don't have to be religious to read a book. You don't have to be all Holy Ghost. You don't have to be none of that. Read your Bible, preferably your African Bible. So I'm not going to get too far off the stand your ground. Um, I'm going to post this on the podcast because there is something, one thing um, I want to put out here in the public's ear, and then I want to put out here in the public's ear, and then my email address is lavitaM@yahoo.com. My Yahoo groups, go to Yahoo groups, you'll see Stand Your Fight for Stand Your Ground, Cleve. No, Fight for Stand Your Ground group. My Yahoo group. This I want to read before I close. I've been on for I just it's it this one thing I want to read, and I do want to read this. Indeed, I do, about mm, is she? Let's see if I can find this. There's one more thing I want to read before I close. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if I can find this because I love this. I'm going to read a little bit of it. I would tell you the source because I just love academics. You know, I try to American read. So I do want to read a little bit of it because to me it's very important. I thought I already had. Yeah, here it is. So there were some studies done. And in 2013, the National Task Force on Stand Your Ground Law was convened by the American Bar Association entity identified below to review and analyze the recently enacted Stand Your Ground Law in multiple states and their impact on public safety and the criminal justice system. The ABA sponsors of the task force include the Coalition of Racial and Ethnic Justice, the Center for Racial and Ethnic Diversity, the Commission of Racial and Ethnic Diversity, and the Profession Council for Racial and Ethnic Diversity and the Education Pipeline. The section on the individual rights and responsibility, the criminal justice section, the Young Lawyers Division, the Standing Committee on Gun Violence, and the Commission Youth on Task Force. The task force members are diverse array of leaders from law enforcement, government, and public and private health sectors. They also include public and private criminal attorneys, academic experts, and other legal and social science experts. There's more information here. But what I like, the lack of necessity, it's on page 19. You talk about conduct. You know, it talks about conduct and the different hearings on the conduct about we need community awareness, we need perceptions of equality and enforcement and application opinions concerning the utility of the laws and reaction to individual experiencing involving interactions with stand your ground law. We need that. We need that. And so we need an approach. We need to continue to approach the stand your ground law. We need to approach the stand your ground law. Our conduct when it comes to issues we get, to me, petty. Your earrings is wrong. She stinks. She smell. We get real cynical, or should I say, we get real uh, nonchalant, as I want to say. And so we know that some of the suggestions, we want to impact ground your laws individuals on our communities across the United States. Okay, we want to impact the ground your laws around the communities across the United States, and I know how to do that very well. I had a great impact. Who got Empress Chi off her throne every day, 3 shifts, 7 days a week? Rain, sleet, and snow, muddy. When it comes to impacting across the United States, I'm very good at that. Massive. And so we too many of our leaders testify hearings, and so we're going to take a look at some of these hearings and some of these testimonies as how we can impact our communities, which is necessary, especially the mental health. Um, Increased awareness. The time has devoted to reviewing reports on demonstrate your commitment to increasing awareness and support for critical evaluation of Stand Your Ground, which have dramatically altered the landscape of self-defense. And so we know that this is a combat violent crime. Straight up, straight up. This legislation is a combat violent crime. And you should know laws that is combative as this one. And so here it shows evidence that states that the statutory stand yourself ground laws have decreased. Um, it has it's said to have decreased. The states that desire to reduce homicide. Really, here you got a self-defense law, but you want you we desire to reduce homicide. So I have more and 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 more. Okay. Um, mm. And so it says for the state that desires to reduce and eliminate racial disparities in the criminal justice center, it is recommended that legislation amend or repeal statutory stand your ground law because it implies racial bias, has been identified as a significant factor causing inconsistent outcome in criminal cases involving stand your ground. So we have more. Um, I definitely want to get. I'm trying to get more. Well, I don't have to tell you to take action. You know, you know. Push the headlines on this. Call CNN. Call. I want you to call international. Um, um, your international radios. Okay. Here we have an empirical assessment on stand your ground, a multi-jurisdictional empirical study of stand your ground law have now appeared, while the task force up their assertions now with multiple years of data available for analysis of fact-based victory merit. Two studies being done here. One is in Georgia State University, and the other by Ching Ching and Mark. We don't go into the names because I don't want to um, in my face about you shouldn't have said this name or that name. The idea of stand your ground leads. They said that the first study was directly contradict the idea that stand your ground laws lead to lust violence. The third study shows that justice policy says that institute and member of task force yields valuable insights into how stand your ground laws may excumbering existing racial disparities in the criminal justice. Additionally, a survey of case by Tampa Bay Times examined whether the stand your ground law actually protect law-abiding citizens. And so here's the address. The address is 77 High Street, 10th floor, Columbus, Ohio, 443, 443, let's see here. So those of you that call me crazy, call me trouble, call me, put it in action. Levita Murray, put it in action. Are you for stand your ground or are you against stand your ground? January 7th, are you going to be? Um, and I could just hear in my insight voices that say, let her do it by herself. Well, guess what? There were several Democrats that said, no, I won't be doing this by myself. I will meet with each and every one of them Democratic Party that say I am in a Democratic Party, and we will stand. We will stand up. 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 Justice. 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 Justice will stand up. We will stand up. Justice. We will stand up. Justice.